Although the focus of this course is not unit testing, it's important to at least understand the basics of unit testing in order to understand how JUnit works and why it works the way it does. Unit testing is really a simple concept that is often made more complicated than what it really needs to be. The basic idea behind unit testing is to take the smallest unit of code and test it by itself. In Java, this is a class. If you test more than just a single class, you can call it unit testing, and much of the way you write tests will be the same, but it isn't really unit testing. It's either integration testing or system testing. If you're using a database or calling a web service in a test, it may still be a good test, but it's not a unit test. You can see in this diagram that an entire system might compose of many different classes that are grouped together as different components. But the smallest unit is a single class. And when we are truly doing unit testing, that is what we're aiming to test. With that said, we can use JUnit for more than just unit testing, but you'll probably find that much of the framework lends itself to unit testing since it was designed with unit testing as the primary purpose. This course won't cover unit testing in depth since we'll be mostly focused on the JUnit framework itself. But you may want to find out more about unit testing, especially if it's new to you and you haven't written unit tests before. Fortunately, there are several great courses in the Pluralsight library that can help you get started with unit testing and even learn some advanced unit testing techniques. The basics of unit testing are pretty easy, but the hard part comes in isolating the unit of code you're testing from the rest of the system. So you may want to check out a few of these courses after you complete this course. The first course I'd recommend is Outside In Test-Driven Development by Mark Seaman. Mark is someone I highly respect when it comes to the subject of unit testing. He really thinks deeply about what it means to unit test and how you should create good unit tests, and I'd highly recommend his course. Also, you may be interested in a form of unit testing called Test First or Test-Driven Development. David Starr and Scott Allen created an excellent course on this topic called Test First Development. There's also a second part to this course that you can watch as well. Finally, you can search for unit testing on the main Pluralsight page, and you'll find many courses about unit testing and mocking frameworks that can fill in your knowledge.